Hey everybody, welcome again. This is the GGRated live show, episode 11. It is Monday once again, and I'm your host, the Iceman. And joining me all the way from Portugal is our friend Hydra, surviving the thunderstorms and lightning attacks. How you doing, Hydra?
Doing fine, but much disappointed now. I rather had the porn site we had before. Now it's just a GG-rated background. Meh, it's okay. But yeah, let's go on. I'm doing good.
All right, we'll explain that in a bit. Also joining us from Sweden, we have our intrepid friend, Sebastian. How are you doing?
I am very well, very happy to be here, and I hope that one day I'll be able to show my face on the show as well as the Iceman just did before.
All right, let's explain it. Guys, everybody, thanks for joining us once again. As you might know, if you've been following the show, previously we've been broadcasting on Ustream, and Ustream has been being a major pain in the butt for us, crashing, going down, losing audio, and we just recently switched over to Justin.tv, so this is our new stream, and I'm using new software right now, so I didn't realize I had my webcam on. I was broadcasting my beautiful face all over the internet. Usually I broadcast in my boxers because it's cold, it's pretty hot in my room, so good thing today I had some clothing on.
Yeah, but it's already a promise. When we reach 100 viewers, he will strip completely, and he's going to be showing up on his webcam. So keep showing up, guys. Keep adding on to the viewer count. We'll get there one day.
And Roger and I will do the same eventually.
Yeah, we'll get everybody's gorgeous mugs on here eventually.
By the way, just one comment. I'm sorry. As you guys know, the Iceman was just mentioning about Ustream. For whoever follows the TSL live, Ustream even messed up with the TSL last weekend. I mean, they had 40K viewers, and still TSL, the Ustream, crashed on them, and they have to wait like 30 minutes to get the stream back up for the second match. So, yes, I guess we're not alone.
Yeah, thank goodness. So, yeah, if you are a live streamer and you're listening to this, make the switch now, and you will save yourself plenty of headache in the long run, I would say. So yeah. But guys, I am pumped and I am excited and I am happy it's Monday because that means we get to cover all of the exciting, super epic action that took place this past week. I mean, we had Dreamhack Invitational, first week of NASL. We had TSL 3 this weekend. Jeez, I can't believe I forgot that. But let's go for it, guys.
Yeah.
Let's move straight into the Dreamhack Invitational. And I'm going to get the bracket up on screen here for everybody. And, okay, spoiler warning right now. If any of you somehow missed the Dreamhack Invitational, you have got to go check out the VODs because we're going to spoil everything for you guys right now. And trust me, you do not want to miss any of this because the action was just off the hook. I'm going to switch over to Sebastian right now and see what he has to say about it because this was his native homeland was hosting this tournament, and in my opinion, this was up to date. This is one of the best tournaments we've had yet in terms of production value and quality. So, Sebastian, why don't you explain to the viewers a little bit how things went?
Well, thank you, Iceman. I will. First of all, I must express national pride, and I don't often do that, to be honest. About how this event was held and organized and just delivered to a global arena of esports and Starcraft fans. Now, I was at the real Dreamhack Winter in November, where I met several pro gamers and had a jolly good time. I got to see Day9 do his thing live with Nama versus Mana, right? And that was great, sure, but it wasn't thoroughly good. The pro gamer area and everything about it was mediocre at best, and definitely StarCraft was not center stage. So it was a good event, but it was lacking in so many areas. And now we get to see this. I was unable to go there myself, various commitments that, however, soon will result in me having a new computer and doing casting, but that's another point. I only got to see various VODs after the event due to work, and I was as impressed as I was surprised over how Dreamhack, which is, an organization run for profit, has been doing it for well over a decade, how they've stepped up the game. Must have invested hundreds and thousands of dollars getting just the right people on board, people with technical skills, like serious professionals who also understood the scene. As we'll go into detail, when Whiteraw said something funny, they threw up an instant overlay that wasn't prepared, enhancing his joke. And there was a very professional presenter, his name escapes me right now, but it was just an overall excellent production. And as I'm fond of saying, I'm a broken record, if anything. Esports is becoming global, and it's becoming more and more susceptible to mainstream appreciation, and that's a good thing. We got to see some really high-end games from the best of players with a better production than any of us has ever seen. Of course, this was a singular event. They have been prepping for months, but whatever, this was just great on every level. And, MC doing smirks and being a bad boy, I like it. It was a treat. Over to you, Roger.
Yeah, well, I watched the whole thing live, like 6 hours of it, something like that. I already left the link if anyone is curious about it or haven't sat down and actually watched the whole thing. There's the link on the chat. Enjoy it. They got all the votes for free, everything in very high quality. I think it's 720p HD. It's not like 1080, but still it's quite good. And they had some huge production values. I never seen anything like it on the tournament scene for StarCraft 2 yet. It is a good sign. It means that people are learning and heading the right way. And probably there will be other organizations that will be able to learn something out of what these guys did. I know that this was a single-day event, probably didn't have the amount of work that other longer events have, but still the examples are there, the references of how do things work, how do you entertain people while providing awesome matchups. And from the host, who was a guy, his nickname is 2GD, Too Good. He's a former Quake player. He played for Team Fnatic, and he's a British guy, and he just, for me, it was a breath of fresh air compared with what we usually have as a host on this kind of tournaments, okay? The guy was relaxed, cool, threw a couple of jokes. I liked his jokes, my personal taste, I guess. There was a bunch of people calling him gay and fag and stuff like that on the chat, but I guess you get that occasionally. For me, the guy was just awesome. I couldn't care less what he does with his private life. If he is or not, I'm not even worried. What I do know is that he was at least a couple of notches above any other host I've seen before. He entertained, he had some good jokes, he took his time to sit down and interview the players. He is not one of the most knowledgeable hosts on the StarCraft 2 scene currently, but he knew how to adapt and make the right questions so he would be enjoyable. And it was just a delight to watch all of that. Casting was fine, and keep in mind that I'm not even a big fan of the Apollo, but the Apollo with the Muslim worked just fine. The crowd helped a lot as well. They were just all excited, a lot of postcards and tapping on the floor and applauding and shouting when big things were occurring on the matchups. And all of that added together made, at least for me, my personal opinion, made it become the best experience I ever had on a live-streamed event in StarCraft 2 until now. We'll see what comes out in the future, but I hope that other organizations learn from it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm not sure why people were bashing the announcer 2GD. I thought he was fine. I mean, his jokes were pretty witty, and everything he came up with was off the top of his head. And the one thing I do want to point out that I'm not sure if you mentioned this, Hydra, but the way things flowed was very smooth. The transitions were made properly, and there wasn't time wasted. Commercials and advertisements were placed when they needed to be. There was downtime when there needed to be. It was an overextended downtime, and the after-game interviews were just perfect. I really enjoyed listening to those. So I think if anybody is planning to have events, especially I think I'm aiming at MLG, they should look at how Dreamhack performed in this event and take notes, because the production quality was just stellar in all forms.
Well, let me just add a couple of things. I have to agree with you. No downtime. They knew that they had to switch players and get the PCs ready and set up the PCs for the players, all of that stuff. So they just made all of that while the host was on the front, on the seats, on that couch, interviewing, and everything just flowed completely smooth. There was no interruptions. Anyone remember, for example, waiting 45 minutes for Naniwa to set his left-handed mouse on MLG? That didn't exist here. Just an example.
Yeah.
Other examples like 1 hour breaks on MLG to see one single match. I mean, there's lessons to take from this event, and it was just awesome to watch it. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I watched about 6 hours of it. I already said that, and it was just pure fun all the way.
Yeah, I agree completely. The crowd was excellent, and the casting was just great. But more importantly, the games were epic, and I think we should get into the matches because I'm sure that's what people want to hear and they want to see some of the crazy action. As you guys can see up on the stream, we have the brackets up. We have the first match was MC versus Maro. Following that was Idra versus TLO. Following that was Huck versus Show. And last but not least was Jinro versus Duckload Whiteraw. So I'm going to get the VOD up for the first match, which is MC versus Maro. And Hydra, why don't you take it away and basically break this down for us, how things went.
Okay, do you have some VODs running of it, right?
Yes, I do. I have the VOD running.
Okay, for me, I guess that all the series were pretty awesome.
Definitely.
I'm a big fan of seeing the Korean pros clashing against foreigners, so to speak. They're not foreigners for us, but especially against Europeans and North Americans. And here, for round 1, he clashed against Moro. Actually, Moro was able to take a match off him, which is pretty cool, and a sign that better things would be up to come on this event. Other players would be trying to stand against MC, who was the biggest reference and the superstar on this event, obviously, though we had a lot of really big players. Also keep in mind that Show replaced Boxer because Boxer was ill and he couldn't come. And at the last hour, I think it was the warning about it was like a day before, and Show just filled in the spot fine. He played excellent, had some really nice matches, and it's another homeboy. I mean, he's Swedish, he was playing at home, so it was pretty cool for the crowd as well. But you guys are just taking a look at this VOD. As you can see, you already have here MC and Moro tied 1-1. This is the final match of the best out of 3, and basically... Yeah, MC dominated with some airplay. MCU is just very solid. I'm pretty sure he was suffering from a bit of jet lag and all of that stuff, but he was just rolling fine, owned everyone that moved and tried to pass in front of him. As you guys are going to see here, I'm not sure if I added that to the VOD. As you can see, the player that wins comes to the front, sits on a couch, and speaks with Too Good. So really nice. That transition allowed for the organization to prepare the PCs for the next matchup, and I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
This was one of the first games played, and MC just dominated, but it wasn't that clear-cut, you know? Like, Moro actually stood his ground and tried to defend it, but, well, a 2-1 victory in the end for MC, making MC passing, and Moro playing at home just sat down and enjoyed the rest of the event by himself, sitting on the floor and on the chairs.
One thing I would like to bring up in this series, I believe it was game 2. I can't remember what that new GSL map is, where it's very long, but in the middle there's lots of pathways that meet up. I forgot what it was called.
Crossfire? Crossfire?
Possibly. I don't remember what it was. But it was favored for Protoss. Usually Protoss always wins, and it was surprising because Maro had his back against the ropes in the beginning, and he ended up coming back and winning that match in superior fashion. So even though MC was on a tear and has been on a tear, Maro, we got to give him lots of credit because he did manage to pull off a game on an unsuspecting, people were not suspecting that he would do well on this map, so it was nice to see that happen.
Indeed, it was.
And the last match, as Hydra said, was pretty close. Maro was rushing the front, and MC was just able to get enough buildings down to block. So, yeah, great series.
It was, if I may interject there again, it was a joy. I mean, by the time I watched it, I had gotten the results spoiled for me already. But even so, I did want to see how my countryman, the Zerg with the weird hair, could put up against the Kratos Protoss. And MC is probably the best player in the world, quite consistently. At least top 3, depending on the day. And Moro put up a good fight, as he was done before, I believe. And yeah, it was just a good thing to see. We can hold our own these days.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for match 2 here. We had some insane action from TLO and Idra. And this first match that you guys, I'm not sure if it's in the VOD. Did you happen to get it in the VOD there, Hydra?
Wait, could you repeat that, please? I was trying to look for an example of Naniwa playing left-handed. People were curious about it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. I had the question answered. The first VOD that you guys have up here, you can see TLO came with some, probably one of the most unorthodox all-in one-base builds you'll ever see. 7 racks Marine push, and I don't think I've ever seen this before, and I'm not sure anybody else has seen this before, but Idra did not know what was coming, and after they talked to him later on, after the matches were played out, they asked him if he knew what had happened in Game 1. He's like, oh, he beat me with the 4 racks. It was a good push, but Too Good was told him that, no, that was a 7 racks push, and he said, what, 7 racks? I didn't even know that was possible on one base. It's quite funny, but Sebastian, you want to comment a bit on this series, this matchup? I know you have strong feelings for Idra.
I do. I will say, and people can type it on my tombstone, I'm not at the very least ashamed to say that in the Starcraft world, he is the world's tallest midget, meaning, of course, that he's the very best of average players. Now, in all fairness, I do want to clarify what I mean a bit. I think Idra is a bit whiny, not the bad boy we need MC is, and hence I tend to not easily forgive his bad manner and his, he shows averagely good results, but he's not awesome, so he doesn't get away with being a bitch. And seeing him lose, especially to beautiful stuff by TLO, just makes me tingle. And but he's a good player, but he's not that excellent, so he can get away with being snotty, and he looks like Harry Potter, which is seldom a benefit. And this was just glory for me, seeing TLO, who of course I'm a great fan of, and
who isn't?
Obviously, but. It was beautiful, It was sublime is the word I'm looking for.
Well, on this matchup, you guys know Idra ended up winning 2-1. It was close. Hydra was actually quite solid on his matchup. Look at this huge battle here in Metalopolis. But yeah, that first opening with the 7 racks build, I mean, it surprised everyone. And after TLO used it on this Dreamhack Invitational, he already used it again. If I'm not mistaken, was on the NASL. He went again for the, I think it was 6 racks or 7 racks opening once more. And apparently it works, at least on some of the maps, on some of the situations. He's just able to go for that. And as you might imagine, it's quite simple, but very unexpected, because people are not imagining anyone being able to put out the enough income and the production to just be able to accompany the amount of units you can produce with that amount of buildings out of one base, out of the one mineral line. But TLO just pulls it out, shows up with a big wave, a tsunami of Marines clashing against Idra, and smashed his face in on that first game. But to answer back, Idra just played very solid on the following 2 games and dominated TLO. Was really impressive. As you can see here, TLO is just getting destroyed in Crevasse. The games weren't like they very one-sided. They were quite close, fairly long matchups, except for that first one where TLO basically surprised Idra. And like the Iceman was saying, Idra was even wondering, what, 7 racks out of one base? Is that even possible? But yeah, I guess it was, and it worked on that situation. And probably want to see more of that on the ladder. People will copy it. But well, the end result was that Idra was solid enough on this moment, on this situation, to take a win off TLO and win the series. I think it was well-deserved, though Sebastian has his reasons to call him the tallest midget, and it's always a funny comment. On this specific moment here on this matchup, he was better. He played very solid on those 2 games after the surprise, the 7-rack surprise. And as you can see, he got all the way till late game. There's Broodlords flying there, a load of mech, a ton of mech by TLO trying to hold the aggression. But Hydra with a lot of Broodlords, plenty of Zerglings as well, and poking here and there with this Mutalisk harass, just was able to take the final victory.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you guys one possibly thought-provoking question.
Go ahead.
We know everybody loves TLO. Who doesn't love TLO, the Wonder Boy, with his creative builds and stuff? But
yeah,
I am beginning to wonder, don't get me wrong, TLO is an amazing player, but I'm beginning to wonder how long his fandom is going to be validated, because he doesn't seem to be winning consistently. I mean, he comes up with these cutesy builds, the 7 racks, you know, but he's a solid player, but we're still not seeing like some consistent TLO wins. I don't know. I'm just depressed that we don't see TLO making the headlines more. Like, I remember Jinro was an excellent player, and back when GSL started, he didn't make it the qualifiers for the very first one, and then everybody was like, "Oh, I mean, it's pretty sad that he didn't make it," and people were expecting him to make it in. But then we saw Jinro explode and grow and turn out to be this huge, powerful player, and I'm not seeing this from TLO, and this is something that I want to see from TLO. I mean, his builds and the way he plays is entertaining and awesome, but I mean, I want to see some solid winning. What do you guys think? I'm just putting this out there for some thought-provoking.
May I go ahead there, Iceman?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
Go for it.
First of all, I do think you pose a very valid question, and it is true that TLO has not consistently been winning. He did win the Poker Idol something in London earlier in the year, I believe. I think that was his first placement. So him being consistently on top is not the case. But in all truthfulness, that cannot be said about many players that we name pros. All the big names up there, certainly in the non-Korean scene, and even in that scene, there's only one MC and one Nesty. There's a big fluctuation across the board, and there are very few people who manage to win one thing and then do it one more time in a row. Mm-hmm. So TLO, he does cutesy things. You could go as far as call him gimmicky, and perhaps he can't really play a straight-up standard game. Yes, I mean, it's hard to show people a standard TLO game so one can compare, because he just don't do that. However, he always manages to appear at various events. Is it because he gets invited? Yes, but it's not completely without reason. He does ladder a lot. Mm-hmm. And he remains in the picture all the time. And I think that is what consistently good means, because StarCraft 2 is so hard, and we have not reached the point where it has been cut down to a science like Brood War was. TLO is consistent in his madness. There's a method to it. And as someone said in the chat, I think it was Swag Attack, shout out to you for being one of our most truest viewers. He is the show match master, TLO is. He knows how to pull the crowd, how to make them cheer, how to make them roar. And he can win with it. He doesn't win first place placements that often, but he does win our hearts, and he does that consistently across the board. And I think that is what is the genius about him.
Okay. I just want to say a little bit more, enlighten on what you just said. I agree completely with what you said, but isn't it true that I love his show match style, and I love the way he plays. I'm always interested to watch what he has to do, his creativity. He's always trying to expand the bounds and push the borders of what can be done, what builds are going to work when. I mean, his play is just creative. That's what he's known for. But in terms of growth and winning, I'm not talking about winning a major event like GSL and then winning again. I'm talking about progressive play style. And by that I mean, let's take for instance Naniwa. Naniwa, when he started off, bit of a hothead. People were like, oh, he's not so strong of a player. But last MLG, look at him go. 26-2 was it that he made it through. And I noticed that he has been steadily getting better, progressively making adjustments, and just being more stable in the way he plays. I don't know. That's just something I want to see out of TL. Doesn't have to bring home championships for me. I just want to see more consistent victories, not the once in a while big time show matches. Because I don't know. I mean, I remember the TLO back when we saw him dropping nukes everywhere, siege tank lines moving all across the board, and then he switches between Terran and random. And I mean, I don't know what's going on with that sometimes, but he still has my heart nonetheless. It was just a question I wanted to pose.
Yeah, I think it's valid. He is not a player like Naniva, who has quickly risen to fame due to his clear understanding of the game. He is extremely solid, his HDHD notwithstanding. And that is just a great thing for him. And he's my countryman, so I'm definitely cheering for him in the TSL. TLO is of a different sort. And I think part of the reason why you're wanting this thing that you speak of is that we don't get to see much of his everyday kind of play. He does. I don't know if he streams as frequently as he used to, and if you guys are following him. But he tends to make a big roar when there's a show match. But otherwise, we don't know what he's up to. And we do know that he's organizing a Pro Gamer House in Stockholm that he's just moved in last week.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of those things going on. But I think it's safe to say that there are other players out there who are better and more consistent. And that TLO will be sort of a visionary, perhaps an entrepreneur. He is, after all, the leading mind behind this Pro Gamer House. He is the boss man in all ways that matter. And he will take on such roles. And similar to what can be said about Slayer's Boxer, TLO, he has a knack for Starcraft, for strategy. He sees the metagame, then he steps out of it and tries to poke a hole through it, rather than trying to master the current trends. And that won't win you many championships. It will win you once in a while, but those will be the ones we remember.
Right. Hydra, you said something pretty interesting in the chat. Why don't you allude a little bit to what you said there?
About what? About Spanishiwa?
Were you talking about TLO or Spanishiwa being shell-shocked?
No, I was commenting about Spanishiwa. Never mind.
Oh, my bad. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, for me, I think that TLO is an awesome player. I don't know. I think that it will have to get to a moment where TLO needs to sit down, choose his race, and just focus on that race. We know he's awesome. We all know that. I mean, a guy that is able to master 3 races, being able to play random at this level is just impressive. But I think he can even go to the next level if he actually focus on Zerg or Protoss or Terran, whatever he wants. And that might be one of the reasons why he is so creative, because he has a deep insight to all of the races, but it's also holding him back, you know what I mean? Because he keeps poking at each of the races and doesn't take it deep enough to just be a huge master on that specific race. Maybe we'll see it later on. I think that might be the way he's heading. For now, I still believe on TLO. I think he's just a powerhouse playing StarCraft 2. And I would like to say the same thing about Jinro, by the way. Jinro is on a bit of a slump at the moment. I recall seeing some images of him. I think it was on the team event on GSL. He was a bit pissed off there, but he's just learning and evolving, and the guy's even learning Korean, so I'm pretty sure he's going to stay there for a long, long time.
Yeah, and no hate for me. I'm a huge TLO fan and supporter, and as Sebastian said, it is a bit selfish that I want him to perform better. It's because I want to see more of him in the stage light, and I want to see more of his matches.
Yeah.
But
we all want nukes.
We all want nukes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
GGRated is proponents of nukes.
What's next? Next match.
In this
Come on.
case, yes.
Let's go for the next match.
Yeah.
Next match we have Huck versus Show, which turned out to be quite an interesting matchup. Back and forth play. It was really interesting, and again, we see another Swedish player taking the victory here, and well-deserved victory at that. Hydra, why don't you comment on it for us?
Well, first comment I would like to do is that this Dreamhack Invitational was just a tremendous, awesome event for everyone, except for the Team Liquid. They got completely dominated on this event. They weren't very successful, though they put out some really nice matches. We ended up having the homeboys on this situation with Cho taking the victory here over Huck. Wasn't that far away? I mean, it was a close call, but still was well deserved. Cho, as you guys know, was a late hour replacement for Slayer's Boxer because he was ill, but he was able to put up a really nice matchup here against Huck. Keep in mind that Huck was playing quite solid. I didn't saw Huck just suffering from any of the things that have been hindering him when he's playing in Korea. You know, he had first of all, on one of these first appearances on TV, he felt like he was a bit shell-shocked and he wasn't very used to playing inside that booth with a lot of people looking at him. I think he's way over that now. He was at least in the Dreamhack, there was a big audience there looking at him, a lot more people than you have on the GOM TV studio, and he was then on that sound booth playing just impeccable. But I mean, Show was just solid. The guy was just ready to show his skill to the world. He's one of the big references playing Terran in Europe currently. I don't think he's very well recognized outside of Europe, like Korea, obviously, but also in North America. He needs a bit more exposure. But still, he had a big demonstration here that his Terran playing is solid and was able to stand his ground against Huck and take the win.
Mm-hmm. And very nicely so. No, I'm just, you know, I met the Huckster. I'm a huge fan of him. You know, I gave him a napkin after he threw up after the Dreamhack after party. But I do enjoy seeing a fellow Swede beat the shit out of him. So, GG.
Yeah, good series, interesting, well played by Show, and deserved victory. And it's too bad, as Hydra mentioned, that the TLO boys caught a whooping on this event. But better luck next time, guys.
Indeed.
Let's move on to the next matchup we have. We have one of my favorite players, Whiteraw, up against the Gorilla Terran, Jinro. And what a series this was. Surprisingly, Whiteraw was just beasting, and he was able to 2-0 against Jinro. I'm not sure many people saw that coming, but Sebastian,
Nope.
Why don't you break it down for us?
Well, what can I say? The beast from the east, the grandpa toss, the oldest dinosaur in the business, continues to show us that he's got so much bite, and that any youngster, having almost won a GSL or not, needs to fear the Ukrainian menace. You can never count out Whiteraw. And, you know, he may drink vodka like a workhorse drinks water, but that is clearly only good for your Blink micro. Jinro may be in a slump, Whiteraw may be be having a good day, whatever. He was the superiorly better player, and brings me back to the Brood War days. I of course I want to see Jinro do well. He's a young Swede. He's out there representing, and he's doing what is frankly a quite straining thing, living in a very faraway country in a very different culture, giving up a lot, you know, social life, many things. He gives years of his life. So I want to see Jinro succeed. But Whiteraw, he just proves that he's the business, and I can only smile.
Yeah. Hydra and myself were talking a bit before the show. Whiteraw was just commenting about he was here for the fans, he was here for the support, and he was not really here for the money, he was saying, and he definitely won the hearts of the crowd.
And a bit
isn't that
more.
right, Hydra?
Yeah, the guys from the production of Dreamhack, they had like something similar to small metal plates showing up with names and messages on the screen. So when Whiteraw was getting interviewed, Too Good just asked him how things went, what's wrong, if you're doing good, and he was just saying, yeah, I'm here to win the prize, obviously, to take the final victory, but because there's no second prize, there would only be a prize for the winner. If he doesn't win, it's fine. He still will get the community appreciation, and you'll get the recognition from the SC2 fans. So it will profit on a different way. And then the production just showed up a small plate under his name saying White-Ra, he cares. And it was awesome to see that. It was just cool to see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, White-Ra was one of the beasts on this tournament. On the Dreamhack Invitational, he was just so solid. He had some big matchups, epic fights, but he was able to put up the fight against some of the most well-recognized players in the whole world playing StarCraft 2 currently. And we all know that White-Ra is a really old veteran. He's called Grandpa Toss, but he still got the energy, he still has the kick to own whoever shows up on his front. And he even put up some really nice matches against MC. But about those ones, I'm not going to talk now. I'm only going to leave those matchups which were on the finals for the Iceman to talk about, because I know he needs to talk about those matchups.
Yeah, thanks, Hydra. You know I gotta get that out.
Go ahead, Iceman.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup. We have MC versus Idra, Clash of the Bad Boys, or Clash of the Bad Boy and Bad Boy Wannabe. And we saw MC taking it.
Oh my God, you're so bad.
Can't help it, man. Let's get this VOD rolling, and Sebastian, over to you. Break it down, man.
All right. If we get a bit of VODage rolling, I will try to unleash some commentary. But in either case, this was truly a clash of titans. As they always say, PvP is volatile. And here we see MC versus Idra. But I'll just continue as if it was MC versus White-Ra. Volatile or not, seeing two such great players, two such very different players in a final can never be anything but nerdgasmic. And again, their different styles is what is key here. MC, he is as good as his ego is bad, if not inflated. And White-Ra, he's just solid. He knows his stuff. He goes there and he says, I'm here, not here for the money, even though he clearly is also. Says, I'm here for the love of the fans, and he gets it. And
this is Idra versus MC, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed.
Still not the finals yet.
But are we getting that up, or
it's MC versus Idra?
What's running at the moment is MC versus Idra, where MC just dominated Idra. It was a clear 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It just basically owned Idra. I'm pretty sure Idra wasn't very happy about it, but basically got served here. MC was just so solid, and it got to the point where Idra was feeling the pressure in such a way that on game 2 he decided to go for the 6-pool. I don't recall the last time I saw Idra going for the 6-pool. And it was really shocking to actually see him going for that, because it was a sign that mentally he was broken. He couldn't handle the pressure because of the result he had on the game 1. MC took game 1. Then on that game 2, instead of just getting himself ready for a long Zerg macro game, which we all know that Idra enjoys, the long macro games, he just went for the 6-pool like, I don't know, something snapped inside of him, and he thought, I can't beat this. I'm going to try to surprise him and cheese him out of the game because I can't beat MC. Unless I'm a mind reader, I will never know exactly what happened. But what did happen in reality is that MC dominated 2-0 and just threw Idra out of this game and out of this invitational really, really quickly. You guys seen that little plush thingy that was there? Yeah, it was made by a girl that was on the first line of chairs in the front. She was all dressed with a Zerg dress. She does, I think she does cosplay, and she made the probe for him. She made the plush probe and offered him because she's like the biggest fan of MC ever. All that stuff. Anyway, Idra didn't stand a chance here. As you can see on game 1, he went for a very long game. You have already late game units there, but MC was able to resist the pressure, took the win out of Idra, and then on the second game, I think that Idra was just completely weared out and said, I'm going to 6-pool. And well, personally, I was shocked. I wasn't expecting that because you don't see Idra 6-pool that often.
I think it was a bit of frustration because he knew he had game 1. He was actually ahead and he let it slip away.
Yeah.
But, yeah, good series. MC kissing the probe plush toy for celebration at the end there, and moving on. just like we're going to do. Let's move on to the next match. We're going to see here in the next match, we have the Beast from the East, Whiteraw, facing against Show, the Swede. And we're going to pass it over to Sebastian again, since it's his Swedish fellow countryman there. And maybe you can just explain to the viewers how things went.
Well, this time I'll actually be on par with the rest of you in regarding what games we're actually going to talk about.
It's a redemption chance here.
Yeah, I'll try not to F-word it up. Show, of course, as has been said before, was the replacement for Slayer's Boxer. Not easy shoes to fill, and here we see them clashing on Terminus Re, Whiteraw advancing from the south against Show's newly established expansion and unleashing the Protoss Fury that is a bunch of Colossi with a cute Immortal put in there for a good measure, Show being in full retreat. And we see him clearly being just overpowered by the Beast from the East. And, Show is my countryman. I want to see him win, but just seeing Whiteraw being able to put the hammer onto the anvil that is Show like this was a treat. Roger, why don't you take away the next game?
Well, Show versus Whiteraw was really cool. I just enjoy watching Show. It's not one of those players that I see every day. Whiteraw is better well known in the community, and he tried to do his best against Whiteraw, but Whiteraw was just clearly on a roll. No one could do anything about the guy. He wanted the money, he wanted the 15,000 to take them home to his wife and just have fun.
She's pretty, by the way.
I even recalled the caster saying that Whiteraw said that if he took the win, the final victory against MC, he would pay a round of drinks to everyone and some crates of bottles, and he was saying that everyone would have a huge party. So, well, unfortunately things didn't went that way, but still it shows that he was just going for fun and games. He was enjoying himself there and just trying to get the best out of that moment, out of that event. And, well, he played really well to the point when he just dominated everyone that appeared in front of him. And here, as you can see, facing battle cruisers. Battle cruisers weren't enough. Yeah, at the end of this this match, you had Whiteraw getting interviewed. He went to the couch, and Too Good just told him, "So what you think about those battle cruisers? I mean, battle cruisers, battle losers. Pfft, what's that?" You know, like, yeah, no, not even the battle cruisers were able to control the wrath from Whiteraw. He was just dominating the whole match. And Show tried his best, but wasn't enough. Still, like I said before, replacing someone last minute, trying to fill in the shoes from Slayer's Boxer like Sebastian did. Show did very well. He got to the semifinals. Congrats to both of them. The Clodra, Whiteraw went to the finals.
Yeah. And Show got interviewed on national TV. I saw it, so good for him.
All right, folks, we are going to move to the last and final matchup. And this was an epic Protoss versus Protoss.
Volatile.
Continuation.
Me and Sebastian are going to go silent now and allow just the
awesomeness
to do the honors. Go.
Thanks, man. This was a, I guess you could say, continuation a little bit from the GSL World Championship Team League, where we had Whiteraw sniping MC out, and there's been some back and forth between these two players. And I'm going to confess it openly here that I am definitely a Whiteraw fanboy, more so than I care to admit to being an MC fan. So my heart was definitely with Whiteraw, as he was tearing through all the opponents and had a clean sheet moving into the final matchup. And first game, we saw Whiteraw just tear into MC relentlessly, and he took the first game, and he was looking invincible. Second game, shows up, same thing, Whiteraw takes it again. Okay, he's 2-0 up against MC. MC's got his back against the ropes. This is a best of 5, so Whiteraw has a chance to clean it up in the next matchup. We go to the next game, and MC, obviously, being the Kratos God of War that he is, goes to his trusty 4-gate build and brings the heat to Whiteraw. No big deal. One game down, 2-1. we go to game 4. MC does the same thing. Comes back, beasts against White Raw. And I'm getting a little nervous now. I'm getting a little sweaty. Things are getting tense here. I was like, oh, no big deal. White Raw can let one game slip. But then 2 games go out of his hands, and I'm like, okay, this cannot be happening. I cannot be seeing what's going on here. So we get to game 5, and it's on Shakur's Plateau. And as you guys know, the map spawn positions are always diagonally situated. And we have White Raw going for his natural opening build, gate into cybernetics. And MC, the ballsy player that he is, goes for a proxy 2 gateway build in White Raw's base. I saw this coming, and I nearly flew out of my chair. I was freaking out. I couldn't believe what was happening. This could not be happening. I was just freaking out that this cheese was going to happen.
Man.
Huh?
He's a madman.
He is a madman, but I was furious. I was cursing to Hydra over Skype when this happened because I wanted White Raw to win so bad. And I was so pissed that MC didn't seem that he could play a stand-up game against White Raw, since White Raw had taken the 2 games in the beginning handily. But, man, MC, the pressure was on, and he performed, and he is the best player right now as a Protoss, and he showcased that. And no matter how much I hate to admit it, we got to give him credit. But
we gotta.
Man, that was an epic series, and this is hard for me to say because I wanted White Raw to win. So, Hydra, why don't you take over for me before I have an aneurysm here?
Well, actually, it happened exactly like the Iceman was just reporting. This moment that MC decided to go for 4-gate play, which he did on the 3rd and 4th game, he was just owning with his brilliant micro, just dominated those 2 matches and was able to tie the series. Everyone was really surprised in the venue, the place where everyone was watching the Dreamhack Invitational live. People were just stamping with their feet on the ground, you know, making a rumble noise, because everyone was tremendously excited over the fact that we had the moment there where White Raw was leading 2-0 over MC. He was 1 win away of taking the tournament out of MC's hands. There would be no excuses with lag, whatever. He was right there sitting on a booth by his side, and the best player who had was taking the victories there. White Raw was doing 2-0. But then MC just sat down and said, okay, I had enough of this. I'm going to crush this nerd. I had enough of this bashing. Everyone is just supporting the guy. I'm going to end this right here, right now. He started 4-gating. Brilliant micro on those 4 gates, by the way. And then on the final game, he just said to himself, I'm here to win, I want the 15K, and the White Raw is doing the same opening and the same builds over and over again, so I'm going to counter that. He was on Shakura's Plateau, he found, as you guys know, the bases on Shakura's Plateau are fairly big, so he found a little sweet spot where the White Raw didn't have any visibility unless he started scouting on his base. He didn't, so all of a sudden he had 2 gates inside his base, warping in Zealots, and surprise, surprise, he lost that game. Now, to add up to this comment, let me say that I'm pretty sure that most of you guys read what MC already posted. He made a post on his Twitter. Someone on Team Liquid was kind enough to translate it. And basically what he's saying is, come on, it's 15K on the line. I have a chance to win. The guy is doing the same build over and over again, and I know what to do to kill him. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. You guys can call it whatever you want. Cheese, no cheese, mastermind, brilliant positioning, excellent idea. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to grab the 15K and get back to Korea. And he did. So basically what he's saying is, I'm a pro gamer. I live from my results here. So I'm not going to go for a very straightforward match risking losing when I know I can just crush the guy because he keeps repeating the same build over and over. And so he did, and so he took the win. Did I felt a bit cheated at the end? I did. But I understand perfectly what MC thought, and it's the professional thing to do. He was just cold-blooded, just had a rational decision there, and said, I'm going to kill this guy, I'm going to do it now and take the victory. And he did 3-2. Let me mention that this was probably one of the most epic finals I ever seen, and it was a PvP that people tend to say it's really boring and annoying. No, not in this case. It was just tremendously exciting, thrilling to watch, and seeing those two monsters, one from Europe, another one from Korea, clashing there was beautiful to watch, just beautiful.
Oh my, I can't watch this. I'm about to leave the room. That bastard with his smirk.
He did well. Do you guys remember when Too Good asked him on one of the rounds that he won, he was just going, MC, why so good? And he just says, I have a good brain. Or have good brain or something like that. And the production just showed up with a little plate tag, a name tag on the screen saying, MC has a good brain. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to go. It's the way to do things.
Apparently he likes Swedish water as well.
It's good, man. Well, you should come here for the water.
Yo, I'm gonna come over and we're gonna do a GG-rated Swedish broadcast.
We can do it from the TLO Pro Gaming House, I think.
We should do that someday in the future once we become total ballers.
Dreamhack Summer. Dreamhack Summer. Everyone there.
I heard Husky is coming.
Let's do it. Let's go for it sometime. Anyways, that's all the Dreamhack coverage we have, and I think that was one of the most amazing tournaments that I've seen in all form factors. But we cannot dilly-dally on that much longer. Let's move on to our next topic. You guys ready to talk about NASL? Just quickly breeze through the results.
Yeah, we're just gonna go skim through the results, make some short comments, and that's basically it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna breeze through the results here and get them up on screen. I was unable to catch most of the live streams since I was quite busy this week. Finals coming up, but I tried to catch a little bit here and there, and I had some tough times. There was a bit of lag at times when I was trying to watch the games, but there's a few other issues that have been popping up, but I think I'll let Hydra talk about that for right now.
Well, first of all, I'm a supporter of NASL. I want them to do well, but there's some stuff they need to polish. There was a lot of complaints on day one because of the lag, a lot of issues. There was issues with the VODs for some viewers as well. But things have been slowly ironed out. The admins have been paying attention to the complaints. Though there's a lot of trolling going on, people being a bit over-aggressive, you know. They don't know how to put things and explain why they're just displeased with NASL. But things are slowly evolving for the better, at least my opinion as a viewer. And I've been following through the free stream because I'm doing exactly the same thing and following the same policy I had for the GSL, where I just watched the free stream for about 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, before I was convinced to start paying the money. Eventually I will if NASL starts and keeps ironing out all of these mistakes. Now, the problem is, it's a fairly big event, a long one as well. In my opinion, had plenty of issues with the stream. Now apparently they're more stable. There's issues with the sound. The microphones are in some occasions even worse than mine. And I mean, I'm just a simple guy casting from my home. So it's a bit strange to see an organization that side having problems with the sound. And then we have the little bits, the little details that ruin things. For example, there's at the moment threads going on TL about the admins feeling a bit overpowered and IP banning a lot of viewers because they just try to relay their opinions over the game and over the stream, and sometimes maybe they're not able to put those opinions in the proper words, but it's not a reason to IP ban someone. So I guess that the admins are just a bit trigger happy at the moment. And also another issue, I'm not sure if you guys follow that, I think it happened yesterday, after Sen played this series. Let me just see, who did Sen play against? I don't remember now. But when he finished his series, the hosts, In Control and Greytorp, apparently were just commenting on something. Oh, he played against Zinio. Yeah, I'm just checking here. They finished the series and they were just wrapping it up. And after wrapping up and getting the ads rolling, they're supposed to mute their microphones, and they didn't. So you can hear Greytorp saying something like, "Oh my God, Sen is playing like shit. He's even worse than Hydra." I mean, having that on the stream with 20K people listening to it, okay, I respect his opinions, no issue whatsoever with that. But
he has the idea is to,
but come on, keep them for yourself because you're trying to provide content for a large bulk of people, plenty of viewers, and obviously there will be people that laugh about it and people will say, oh, that's rude, it's offensive, coming out of someone that it's supposed to not be biased, or at least to be at least biased, the least biased possible. I mean, the guy is casting. What we assume when he starts casting Hydra games is that he doesn't like the guy and is going to trash him the whole day. So yeah, it wasn't the best thing to do. I guess that this will be gone in a couple of weeks. No one remembers this little detail, especially because it isn't present on the VODs anymore, and NASL already edited it, cut it that little bit out. So in a couple of weeks, no one will remember it. And hopefully NASL will be evolving on the right path as well. If they want to take any lessons from Dreamhack, feel free, go for it. I think it's a fine example. Though I know it's two events with completely different dimensions, I think there's still lessons to take from the production values that Dreamhack put up there for that invitational. And I'm just going to keep watching and enjoying the matchups. One last note before I pass to Sebastian. There has been a lot of games they've been playing and showing series to us every day, as you guys know, on NASL, but there's still a lot of not as high-skilled gamers as I expected to be weeded out. What I mean is, we're just on the really early stages, and there's a lot of games that are not as good as I expected. And then there's some exceptions. For example, I enjoyed a lot watching, I think it was NADA versus DDE. I think that series was just awesome. I loved that series. Was really close, the final game. And it's one of the few examples. But there's a lot of series that were a bit like one-sided, and they didn't come up and put out the results I expected. Let me just give one example. Artosis, he didn't play anything. He needs to practice. I know that he said on an interview not long ago that he still considers himself to be much more of a player than a caster, but what he put out there, it shows that he is a caster at the moment. I'm not trashing on him. He would beat me any day, any time. I know he's a million times better than me, but if he wants to play at this level and do good, he's going to have to polish up on his game. So I was a bit disappointed. I'm pretty sure there's more people disappointed as well.
Well, cutting in there and offering a slightly different take on the NASL. I'm not disagreeing with anything that Hydra is saying here. They're all very valid points, and I'm actually sorry or sad that I missed that Greytorp mistake. It would have been quite joyous because I would have certainly enjoyed it. But I come from the point of view of an on-demand viewer. For perhaps personal but more practical reasons, I very seldom have the opportunity to watch anything live. I kind of sneak it in at moments when I got a few hours or 1 hour left over. That's when I watch the GSL, the NASL, the TSL, the everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a streamer. I'm not a stream viewer. And hence I only get the VODs. And I actually prefer it that way, on demand. You know, some people like that. Some people enjoy the streaming. And to all 11 of you who are watching this right now, you're super dudes for doing just that. But to me, as an on-demand viewer, NASL, they deliver. It's a good, solid product. Sure, it's there are some sound issues and one stale camera angle and just straight into the game. And Greytorp and In Control are not the most organic mass. They're not a casting Archon yet. But as an on-demand viewer, they do deliver instant games, and I did actually pay the $25 for the season VODs because I just want to be able to browse and pick a few solid games, and perhaps that makes me more of a casual NASL viewer. But it strikes me that they have a good product. It's getting along, and Dreamhack raised the bar. I think none of us expected Dreamhack to really be that good and to set an example that way. We had MLG before almost being good, even though it has lots of suckage. Now it's a different level, and NASL, of course, have to compete. But taking away the Dreamhack example, because it is extreme, this is a daily, almost ongoing event, the NASL.
Yeah, true.
They have a very good thing going. They deserve our support, and for me, it's worth $25 just being able to tune in and see Artosis getting smashed.
I wanna also agree with Sebastian. I can personally vouch as a live streamer and host of this show the many woes of technological shortcomings. Things go wrong, and just seems that just about anything can go wrong whenever with technology. So, I mean, this is something huge that they're offering, that they're doing, and it's in the very early stages still. So I think everybody still needs to show their support and chime in with as much positive criticism as well as some negative criticism. But definitely, I agree with you, Sebastian. My lifestyle doesn't offer me the chance to catch all the live streams, and I unfortunately don't get the chance to view all the VODs all the time as well. But on-demand service, the services that they provide, I think, are excellent, and it's just gonna get better. I mean, they're a fledgling league. And this is huge. I don't think any of us understand just the scope of what they're offering. And hopefully they're going to work out the small bugs that they do have, and I'm sure it's going to get better with time.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. It will evolve with time. Probably they will iron out some of the bumps that are still there for us to witness and to experience. But in the future, it will be better, I'm sure. I mean, I recall the first season of the GSL wasn't the most perfect experience ever, so time will tell. I'm still going to watch. I'm going to follow it. I enjoy watching SC2 matches at this level, so I'm not going to miss NASL. And I'm going to hope that on the next couple of weeks, things will evolve into something much better than what we have now.
It's bound to happen.
I agree.
They got the goods.
Okay, let's go.
You guys want to quickly move into the GSL May results that took place today, the Code A, and then we can end up rounding off the show with the TSL 3 awesomeness that took place.
Oh yes, we ought to do that.
All right, let me get the results up for GSL. And I actually did not get to see the matches at all, so Hydra, why don't you take it away and spoil it for me, as you are our a resident Korean expert here.
Well, I took my time this afternoon. I was sitting at the office and turned the laptop on and start watching the games. Yeah, it was cool because the VODs were uploaded really quickly, and I bought the ticket for this one. I just sat down and started watching the VODs. And had some interesting matchups, some new guys on the block there. Can I call them new kids on the block? It's too corny, isn't it? Yeah, better not.
No one remembers that band anyway.
Yeah, that's bad. Never mind. Well, there's some new guys on the block. The biggest surprise for me was that guy from Incredible Miracle. Apparently, they're just handpicking everyone to their team. There's a new guy, as you can see, his name is I Am Nuts, which is quite kind of funny. And he did fairly well against Gunzi. As you guys know, Gunzi already been on a previous event, a previous GSL. He's not like a superstar. Gunzi is just a solid Terran player that is starting to become one of the frequent flyers on the GSL, at least on Code A. And Nuts was the first time he was playing. It put out a really nice show. The interesting detail there was Nuts on the first game, he didn't do anything good. Gunzi just took him. Nuts, I think he was just stressed or feeling a bit awkward of staying on that booth, playing with the cameras filming him and all of that stuff. I don't know. He wasn't comfortable. But after that game one, he just took 2 games out of Gunzi and 2 really nice games, with the last one being a very long one and a long battle, and was pretty nice to watch. Now, MMA. I think that most of you guys already know MMA.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the references on Slayer's team. Probably is learning from the Emperor, from the Master, from Boxer. He did some brilliant play, just owned that new member of FOU, top class FOU. On this situation, he wasn't top class whatsoever. He needs to work a bit more on that, or he needs to change his nickname. But MMA just dominate him. He's just a very solid player, probably well-deserved of the Code A spot. And something tells me we're going to see him on the up and down matches on this season in May. Then we had Hyperdub. He just took Line. Line was a Zerg that is a new guy as well. It was the first time he was playing on the GSL. Not very good, or at least he was really nervous, because I recall seeing him inside the booth talking to himself and just stressing about things. I think he was really nervous. Maybe he'll show us more of his skill set in the future. But on this on this battle here against Hyperdub, he just got completely owned. Hyperdub just served them on a platter, just owned them. And then we had for the final battle, Jejun against Bomber, a member of Team Xenex against a member of Team Startail, and Bomber showed us once more that he is a solid Terran, and it's probably another of the guys that deserves a chance at Code S, and I think he's going to be present on the up and down matches. He basically took Jejun without that much difficulty, though Jejun was able to put out some nice plays there and stand his ground, at least on one match, the one that he took from Bomber. But I think that it was a clear win for Bomber anyway. So for me here, MMA and Bomber, obvious winners, not a surprise. Hyperdub was also obvious. I wasn't expecting much from Line. And maybe we're going to have more news about I Am Nuts in the future, who knows? Because
or maybe he'll just shrink away.
Yeah, maybe. But he wasn't like... Yeah, his gaming wasn't like the best ever. He wasn't playing like tremendously well, but he was solid. So he showed some tricks. We might be hearing more of him in the future.
Mm-hmm. Glad to see that MMA is carrying his successful play over from the Team League into the Code A. So that's I'm gonna have to check out the VODs later on.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to add, Sebastian, before we move into TSL 3 epicness?
No, I must admit that I did not watch these games, though I am curious about how an old commentator favorite of mine, Mole Trap, is doing over there. So if you could just share a few sentences on that, Roger.
Yeah, I can. I sat down and actually watched it. He did fairly well. It was his first time live in front of the cameras, but he mixed pretty well with Doa. I'm not saying they're already an Archon. They didn't fuse to that point, but there was a couple of lines, a couple of words that went over each other, you know, but that happens occasionally. It's just a matter of them getting used to each other. They're just sitting by each other's side, so they're going to be able to notice when the other one wants to speak or not. Still, he did quite well. He was basically trying to make an analysis on the game while Doa was going for the play-by-play action. His voice was fine for me. His analysis was okay. I'm not a big fan, let me mention this, of very deep, very well-thought analysis. I just want a bit of dynamics to the game so I can enjoy it by myself. And he provided that for me. I was more than happy to see Mole Trap there, and hopefully with time he'll feel more comfortable, more relaxed, and starts getting along better with Doa. There was a couple of jokes from Doa that Mole Trap didn't even reacted, but I guess he was just too scared to even laugh, you know? He was just trying to focus as much as possible on his role there. Yeah, I think he was just trying to concentrate as much as possible on what he had in hands, and then he'll laugh on another occasion when he's more comfortable. So for me, thumbs up, and hopefully he'll be doing better in the future.
Here.
I'm going to have to get the ticket and then definitely check out the VODs because I don't want to miss GSL.
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready for some TSL 3 epicness? Because this past weekend we had the round of 16 clean up with the last 2 days, day 3 and day 4, and we had some awesome matchups, so I think it's time for us to cover that.
Go for it. Iceman, you start.
All right,
you begin because I know you love that.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Go.
Let me just get this hype video rolling here. Get the sound up a little bit. But, yeah, guys, if you felt shortchanged a little bit at all last week with all the 3-0 blowouts, this week you can bet your bottom dollar that everything played out in the most epic fashion. We had some of the greatest matches here. Most of the series went 5 games. I was glued to every moment of it, and production value was great again, except for the part where Ustream decided to take a dump. But other than that, the matches were amazing. Couldn't get enough of what I was seeing, and first matchup, let's go straight into that. We had Boxer versus Sen, and 5-game series, went all 5 maps. Some great back and forth play between Boxer and Sen. Boxer was fearless on all fronts. His marine drops were constantly doing work for him, and any lesser player than Sen, I think, would have crumbled much faster under the pressure that Boxer was dealing. But Sen managed to stay alive long enough to make it for 5 rounds, but the Korean champ Boxer made it out in the end. Sebastian, were you able to catch any of the action? I know that TSL 3 is one of your joys.
It is. It is. It brings back the old days of Brood War when Team Liquid and their Star League was the only foreign light in an otherwise completely Korean Starcraft sky. They gave us good content then, and they showed us now, for all doubters or newcomers to the scene, that when Team Liquid gets their shit together, well, they shit gold. And here we just saw the Emperor clash with Taiwan's King of Zerg and foremost pro gamer, I would say. And Boxer, by this rate, is the only Korean left standing. Even the invincible MC has fallen previously. And I did make sure to watch all of these games, and I remember in particular the last one because this was this went to the 5th game, did it not?
Yes, it did.
My fellow host, yes, and
Yeah,
that was and Crevasse, and I remember Boxer being surgical, like only he can, with his dropship play, dropping here and there, forcing Sen to be overly defensive. And then in an epic clash in the middle of Crevasse, of course being made so that armies will clash in the middle on that lifted up platform. And I was sure that Boxer would lose it. Sen had amassed a huge army, just overwhelmed the Emperor, yet somehow he was the one left standing, took out Sen's 4th and 5th base a second time around and forced him to GG. It was magical. And here we see game 1, I believe,
yes.
on Selnaga Caverns. Here they're skirmishing around the gold near Sen's base, and I watched so many games, I failed to remember what happens next, so we'll just have to pretend it's all fresh. But this was a great series. Of course, I wasn't sure Boxer was going to win it. Of course, he goes with here one of his very Boxer-esque early Marine pushes with SCVs and everything, trying to poke at the Zerg. He can do it like none other, but more often than not, he actually fails. It is very difficult. Sen is very good. And Boxer, similar to TLO perhaps, but even more so, cannot play standard. It's just incapable. He would flat out lose, and his fans, above all, expect him to do the opposite of that. So here we saw him trying to do an early Marine SCV aggression backed off, decided to expand, double barracks going up, and Sen trying to poke in turn, being thwarted here. And I'm sort of running out of steam here, Roger, because I'm still new to this game. Why don't you pick up the commentator torch?
Oh, just as a warning, this is quite a long VOD clip, so...
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
Don't go for shoutcasting the whole thing, or we might be here.
No, it's fine. I just want to add some comments here for whoever didn't watch this series. First of all of these VODs are available for free on YouTube on the Team Liquid channel. So if you missed any of this, make sure you're going to go there to their Team Liquid page and take a look, because they upload all the VODs. Everything is available for free in 720p, just crystal clear, impeccable. Now, things about this series, and something that is getting traditional to Slayer's Boxer, I guess, it's getting like its trademark. He always makes proxy racks outside his base, somewhere, depending on the map, obviously, and then he puts out some Marines in the hope that he will shorten the distance to his opponent's base, obviously, and be able to apply the pressure early on so he can break him. If he succeeds, awesome, just fine, game over, I won. If he misses, if by some chance his opponent is able to defend and Boxer fails that pressure, he just lifts his racks back into his main base and keeps doing his build. I'm pretty sure on all 5 games here on this series. And Sen was just able to defend brilliantly. On this first game, he had a lot of pressure with Marines early on and attempted bunker rushes, and Sen was able to just pull all of his drones out, defend brilliantly, awesome micro by Sen, and it was really a neck-in-neck battle this series. I mean, he ended up 3-2 on Slayer's Boxer favor, but Sen had, I don't know, he was playing just really, really well. He was really focused awesome matchup here, and he just lost that final game with the Boxer taking the win out of his hands, but it was so close. Let me tell you that, in my modest opinion, it's probably one of the most intense and epic series recently from from TVZ. I'm sorry. So if you have the chance to watch it, watch the 5 games. It's well worth it. I watched them. I think it was today or yesterday, and it's just awesome to enjoy. Awesome to watch players of this caliber clashing against each other, because it was just brilliant. I mean, just very intense, very close matches. 2-2, a big tie, and then you're going to have the final clash there to decide who takes the win. And, well, the Emperor just dominated over the Zerg King from Taiwan on this situation. But I guess that the Zerg King will have his revenge one day in the future.
Definitely. And as Roger mentioned, this probably was one of the greatest TVZ matchups we had seen in the TSL so far. I remember some games, I think it was on Crevasse, where Sen came in with a horde of units. I mean, Banelings, Zerglings, and Muta, and they just swarmed in. But Boxer's placement of tanks and Marines was just surgical. And I just massacred units. And this is amazing series. So if you guys missed it, definitely check out the VODs. But let's go for the next matchup. The next matchup we saw Mao's Maro facing against fellow teammate Mao's Hasuabs, and Hasuabs played very, very well. Another great series. Kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and back and forth play yet again. But Hasuabs took the victory in the end with some very strong play by the Protoss Deathball. So, Hydra, why don't you give us a little bit of commentary on the matchup?
Yeah, well, from what I recall of this one, Moro tried to stand against his teammate and opponent on this situation. Asu Hobbs was trying to put out the best game he had, but I don't know. He felt that Moro was a bit short, you know? He fell just a little bit short, and Asu Hobbs was able to dominate him. I'm not sure how... I know that when I was watching the stream, I was wondering how often do these guys play against each other being from the same team? You know, like when you know all the ins and outs of your opponent. And I wondered if that was the case, if Asu Hobbs knew Moro so well that he was able to just dominate the guy. Moro was able to do some nice matches there, had some nice battles. He tried to plan ahead, prepare some counters to his opponent, but basically it wasn't enough. Asu Hobbs was feeling a bit like he was one step ahead of him all the time. You know, like when you're playing chess and your opponent is anticipating your moves, it felt a bit like Asu Hobbs knew where he was going next and was able to contain him. Was a nice matchup, yes, but compared with Sen versus Slayer's Boxer, it wasn't even close. Sen and Slayer's Boxer was a really intense match, really close, and this one wasn't that obvious. As you can see here on this stream, on this VOD that is now rolling, you have Moro going for basically pure roaches. I think he got to a point where he had something like 50 roaches, and he was getting all the upgrades to his roaches, the borrow, the tunneling claws, the range attack, everything. He was just getting all of it, and he was just starting clashing into his opponent. There it is. Now he's mixing it with Hydralisks, and he's going to make a massive push into Asu Hobbs and crush him, if I'm not mistaken, on this matchup. But this wasn't the rule. This was the exception on this series, and Asu Hobbs took the win on the final result. So best of luck for Moro for the next TSL, I guess. And let's keep investing on Asu Hobbs, because since he got qualified, I think he got qualified on the last one, the last qualifier for the TSL. He's been steamrolling just brutally, tremendously on the TSL, and apparently he's unstoppable for now. This matchup was closer than others that he had in the past, but still there was a bit of a gap there, and hopefully he's going to have a contender coming up soon into his way so we can have some epic Protoss matchups.
Yeah. He definitely showcased some pure strength, and he's been carrying that strength all the way through since the beginning of the tournament. So hopefully we can find somebody with skill that can match him, and well, not saying that Morrow doesn't have the skill to match him, but somebody that can give him a run for his money, I would say.
You mean like the Emperor?
Yeah, like the Emperor.
For example, yeah.
Anything you want to add, Sebastian?
Hey, I'm sorry to see another countryman go, as we'll talk about in a second. I'm glad there's still one in the TSL 3. Hasob's played magnificently, and Morrow's final attack in the final game on Taldaram Altar when he went for a quick drop is clearly born out of desperation and him feeling mastered by his teammate who just had him figured out. He tried to do something extreme out of the blue, and Hasob's countered that very powerfully. The best player won.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Let me just add a little detail. Both of these series ended up 3-2, so both of them were close in the result. But I was a lot more excited and feeling in anticipation, just eager to see what would be the result on the Slayers Boxer versus Sen matchup. Meaning that this one didn't felt that close, even being a 3-2 as well. But it was a nice battle, and probably one of the finest days that the TSL had till now, because both of the matchups were really awesome to watch.
Definitely, yeah. And I was happy that we were able to see some best of 5 games go the full length, because I was a bit saddened by the blowouts last week. But
yeah.
Enough of that. Let's move on to the last day of the TSL 3 round of 16, where we saw Goody versus Naniwa. And Naniwa, once again, why is this guy, why even doubt him? I mean, this guy is on great form as of recently, and Goody was able to take one game. The first game, he had some great mech play, as he's known for, but Naniwa said, "I've had enough of this," and he just steamrolled him the next 3 games and took the victory in a very convincing fashion. And Sebastian, why don't you take it away, since this is one of your countrymen once again.
Indeed, as many people, I was a bit surprised to see Naniwa's quick success. When he won the MLG Dallas, I was surprised and had to check the results myself, looking through the odds just to make sure that no one else, or rather everyone else, was wrong about it. But of course, no. He won that tournament 26-2, and here again he faces Goody, who's a solid opponent by all means. And, I was cheering for Naniwa, but I can honestly say that I did not fully believe in him. I wasn't fully convinced, but this series, it washed away all doubt. I'm now a hardcore Naniwa fan because he simply got the goods. That thing that the Iceman brought up about TLO and we wanting him to show his consistent madness, well, Naniwa, he has that. He's not as mad, but he wins a lot more. He's just got that flair, that je ne sais quoi, as the French would say. And it was an epic series. This particular game here at Selnaga Caverns, we see him going Colossi against Goody's Bio Army, but I think Day 9 made a joke that Goody never goes Marauders, or am I mixing that with someone else perhaps? That he prefers the tank-based, very slow and steady kind of grinding Terran. Maybe I'm misremembering that or whatever, but here we see Naniwa simply convincingly crush this bunker rush from Goody, and showing that he's the deadliest Swede around right now. Sorry, Jinro.
Anything you want to say, Hyjar, about the bad boy?
Well, I want to say that I'm liking Naniwa now a lot better than like 6 months ago.
Well, definitely, same here, man.
Apparently found his home in Team Dignitas. I don't know why. Maybe he has the right persons there, but at least his attitude in-game is changing a lot, and the results are just showing, which is impressive. Keep in mind that he's facing here Goody, and Goody is a really good Terran in Europe. He's known for his very defensive style and loves his mech play, always goes for mech, but it didn't pay off on this situation. Naniwa was just completely on top of his game and took the victory. Much respect for Naniwa, especially because apparently he's growing up as a person, but as well as a human being. Like he's just dropping the BM and the attitude and the aggression and all the offensive stuff he had in the past, and now he's focusing on the game. And the moment he starts focusing on the game, we just notice how impeccable his playing is. I mean, he's playing Protoss since the beginning, so there's not even the excuse of, oh, now he's playing Protoss because it's easier, blah, blah, so on, so on. It's not even relevant for this matter here. He struggled with Protoss when things were hard as well, and the guy is just here showing us that he's on top shape, and probably want to hear more of him in the future. I mean, the guy he's been winning tournaments, racking up a lot of money, and apparently he's a powerhouse on TSL as well.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, I'm really happy that he has progressed and grown, and he seems to have matured into a strong player and a very stable player. So, great play from Naniwa, it was a good series, and hopefully he'll make it deep into the tournament, but we'll have to see in the round of 8.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the final matchup. This was the final Zerg left in the TSL 3, and unfortunately he was the last Zerg to get knocked out of the TSL 3. And,
but what a Zerg he was.
Yes, it was. I'm talking about Mondragon here, of course.
Da-da-da-da.
Yes, da-da-da-da. Excellent player, facing off against Cruncher, as many of you should know now if you didn't know too much about him before, but last time we saw him, we had a bit of drama between him and Idra, and he got the better of Idra, and this time he got the better of Mondragon, but in a more classy way, I would say. Sad to see Mondragon get knocked out, since he was one of my personal favorites in the tournament, but well-deserved win to Cruncher.
Yeah, but if I may just infuse what you're saying with further passion, Iceman, I hope everyone here watched, in particular, Game 1 at Terminus Re, where Cruncher was harassing Mondragon so hard with quick Void Rays, followed up by Phoenix, picking away at those drones. But Mondragon defending flawlessly almost. Here we see the end of Mondragon, but I still want to emphasize that game on Terminus Re, where Mondragon turned impeccable air harass, which was followed up by a Stalker attack, into a win for himself, where he ended up with 2 separate forces of burrowed roaches in Mondragon's main and his natural, and then always poking at the front. It was beautiful, manipulative, intuitive, reactionary Zerg play. Nothing written out of a build order, just the understanding of the game, being able to turn whatever situation into an advantage. And here at this game, it's not the final one actually, but
no, this is game 3.
Yes, it's
I had to put this up because of the Cannon Rush cheese.
Yes, that was ballsy by Cruncher, and Mondragon he misjudged the situation. He pulled too many drones that wouldn't do any good, and from there on it just snowballed all the way to hell. And I was so sad to see that, because Mondragon was my last hope for a true Brood War Zerg. Not saying that the Emperor is new school or anything, but I was really hoping to see Mondragon up there in the finals of the finals. And he showed us that in the early games. Even the game on Shakura's game 2, where he lost, he was a champion, like the master of the circus or something. And on this game, well, if he was a trapeze artist, he just fell all the way to the ground and died.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we're going to be seeing in Protoss and Terran matchups from now on. Anything you want to comment, Hydra?
Just that I'm a bit sad to see the last Zerg going away.
Yeah.
I love Mondragon. The guy is just awesome. I already spoke about this on a previous episode from GGRated. I love the fact that when he gets interviewed, he always tries to get the underdog position. People ask him, "Oh, how are you going to do?" He always goes, "Oh, no, that guy's really strong. He's going to own me. No, I'm not capable of getting that win." And then he just goes there and crushes his opponent. It didn't happen on this situation here. Obviously, I have to give some respect to Cruncher, because he already took Idra and Mondragon. Meaning that he's polishing on his Zerg, on his PVZ, I would say. But he's also showing us that he's a contender. He's a player to keep an eye on. And I actually didn't knew the guy before this. Like I mentioned already on one of the GG raters before as well. The only thing I knew about him was when DJ Wheat told me that he met the guy on some live event, on some LAN tournament, and the guy was just frustrating that he was playing Warcraft 3, and everyone was moving to Starcraft 2, and he didn't want to move. And DJ Wheat just told him, Jesus, man, just stop being a pussy and come play StarCraft 2. And basically he moved on, and DJ Wheat was just saying that the guy is really focused, really dedicated. He takes this really seriously. So who knows, we might be hearing more of him in the future. For now, on the TSL, he's doing fine. Better than some other guys that are a lot better well-known, and he's just owning them. So yeah, congrats to Cruncher on this situation here.
Definitely congrats. And classy ending in the last game, not the cheese game, but the last game that they played. Mondragon tipped his hat and he said, "Well played and good luck, and hopefully you continue to do well." And it was just great to see that showmanship from both players.
Absolutely.
As you were saying earlier, Mondragon is a very humble, very great player, and it was great to see this. And Cruncher being brought into the spotlight, deservedly so. I confess that I didn't know anything about him either before this tournament, but he's showing his stripes and he is playing valiantly, so definitely should get his praise deservedly.
TSL, where the underdogs come out and become the wolves of tomorrow.
Yeah.
SE2 Gandalf has spoken.
Well, everybody, I believe that's all the time we have for today's show. Thankfully, we made it through one show with no shit happening like we had on Ustream, so I'm super glad.
Justin TV.
Yeah, go Justin TV, and we're super thankful for the new stream and the new stream tools that we were able to get together. I know Hydra and myself spent quite a bit of time last week. I was in full rage mode after the stream had a heart attack on Ustream, and I was basically fed up with the treatment we had received, so we spent quite a few hours, and we're testing late into the night, and I think the fruits of our labor paid off.
Yeah, I like this.
Indeed.
Definitely.
I like this.
It's this one chunky pineapple of StarCraft 2 broadcasting.
I think I already mentioned this when we started the show today, but even Team Liquid had issues with Ustream on the last weekend. I mean, they had 40K viewers watching TSL, and all of a sudden Ustream just crashed, and we had to wait like 30 minutes for the second game because they were trying to get everything back up and running. So Ustream is not only trolling on GGRated, but it's trolling on higher instances of StarCraft 2 as well. Okay, guess that it's just a sign that it was time for us to move, and we did, and apparently it's working fine, so I'm pleased.
Yeah, and we're just going to keep testing. This is the beta transition period, I would say, for us moving into the new season. We have some things in the works. We're going to try to get some new logos, new intros, and all the bells and whistles, but we promise to bring you guys continually great shows with plenty of media and plenty of awesome opinions from this wonderful nerd trio. And if you guys haven't checked out Hydra and Sebastian's work already, I advise you to do so, because Hydra has a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/xhydrax, where he has great pro matches in 720p. And please check out Sebastian's work as well, youtube.com/polygonreview. Sebastian brings some great commentary and some great interviews from the lives of pro gamers, so don't miss their work, guys. And if you want to get in contact with us, I'm the Iceman. Please contact us at liveshow@GGrated.net. Hit us up on Team Liquid on our thread, and make sure to show us some love on Twitter. It's twitter.com/GGrated. Thanks so much to you guys, the few that did tune in today, those who are listening in the podcast version later on. We love you guys. Your support is the bomb, and we're going to keep this show running and growing. So GG, everyone.
GG!
Wait, let me get it. I have one like DJ Wade has.
I was waiting for that, Hydra. Come on, don't let us down.
Get it now. Wait.
This is awkward, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got one as well, see?
I need to get one.
I know, I need one. All right, guys, we will see you next week, and GG.